Last night, Donald Trump gave an epic speech to Congress. It was inspiring. It was filled with joy and enthusiasm and optimism for the future of America. It was energetic and heartwarming and unifying. But unsurprisingly, the Democrats used this spirited moment to further worsen any goodwill they have with the American people. Trump used this moment to connect with the American people and paint a glorious picture of what the future holds for us, while the Democrats used it to engage in performative antics and show just how shameless and disgraceful they are. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel, but where I want to start is with my absolute favorite moment of Donald Trump's speech, the closing remarks. This will give you goosebumps. Take a look.
This will be our greatest era. With God's help, over the next 4 years, we are going to lead this nation even higher, and we are going to forge the freest, most advanced, most dynamic, and most dominant civilization ever to exist on the face of this earth. We are going to create the highest quality of life, build the safest and wealthiest and healthiest and most vital communities anywhere in the world. We are going to conquer the vast frontiers of science, and we are going to lead humanity into space and plant the American flag on the planet Mars and even far beyond. And through it all, we are going to rediscover the unstoppable power of the American spirit. And we are going to renew unlimited promise of the American dream. Every single day, we will stand up and we will fight, fight, fight for the country our citizens believe in and for the country our people deserve. My fellow Americans, get ready for an incredible future, because the golden age of America has only just begun. It will be like nothing that has ever been seen before. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless America.
So like any good leader, Trump has a clear vision of the future of America and articulated it in a way that was inspiring and sent lightning through my bones. A future of health, wealth, and happiness, of enormous scientific and medical advancement, of strength, security, and American pride. And it was important that he did this. So every time that someone sees these performative protests and the incessant desire to resist Trump at every turn, anyone who isn't Trump deranged will have a clear picture of what the Democrats are actually trying to resist. Trump laid out a vision for a golden era of America, something that resonates with all Americans across party lines. Trump set the narrative for what he's about. And since the Democrats aren't proposing any alternative strategy, they don't have a message, they don't have foundational policies. They're a one-trick pony who only knows how to fight and resist everything Donald Trump is doing because they have a severe case of Trump derangement syndrome. Now, while Trump was killing the Democrats with kindness and positivity, the Democrats needed no help from him, as their anti-Trump stance led them to engage in some of the most shameful behavior becoming of a politician. Here is what I thought was the most repulsive moment of the night, as the Democrats refused to stand up and cheer for a 13-year-old brain cancer survivor who Donald Trump made an honorary Secret Service member.
I am asking our new Secret Service Director, Sean Curran, to officially make you an agent of the United States Secret Service.
Now, this kid's story is pretty cool. 13-year-old DJ Daniel, a few years back, went viral on social media because he was getting made fun of by a bunch of kids because he was wearing a police officer's outfit. So because of that viral video, he's been made an honorary police officer hundreds of times by hundreds of police departments. But last night, Donald Trump wanted to do something really special for this kid and give him his highest accolade in his repertoire. And you would think moments like this, where you're celebrating children, especially ones who survived brain cancer, would get bipartisan support because it's just one of those moments where you show that you're a human being, that you have compassion and empathy, and you're willing to celebrate the dreams and the innocence of a child. But the Democrats can't even do that. In fact, this MSNBC reporter reacted to the celebration of DJ Daniels by saying literally the most disgusting thing a person can say on TV. Watch.
But I think this was a lesson in finding one thing that you let yourself feel. And I let myself feel joy about DJ. And I hope he's alive for another, 95 years, right? And I hope he lives and the life he wants to live. He wants to be a cop. He knows what he wants to do. And maybe when you have childhood cancer, that crystallizes for you. And I hope he has a long life as a law enforcement officer. But I hope he never has to defend the United States Capitol against Donald Trump supporters. And if he does, I hope he isn't one of the 6 who loses his life to suicide. And I hope he isn't one who has to testify against the people who carried out acts of seditious conspiracy and then live to see Donald Trump pardon those people.
I mean, just imagine being so heartless, so soulless, so obsessed with your own partisan narrative that 4 years later you're still bringing up January 6th and doing the mental gymnastics to somehow link that to the aspirations of a 13-year-old who wants to be a police officer. Being so Trump deranged that you're talking about a hypothetical situation involving a 13-year-old unaliving themselves. Being so unhinged and mentally ill that you politicize a cool moment for a kid just because you don't like the president. And just to show you a little bit more about this DJ kid, here he is today in the Oval Office giving Donald Trump a hug.
What a good-looking family, huh?
There's one more thing I got for you, a big hug.
Okay, good. That's very nice. Look at that family you got, huh?
Yes, sir.
Very nice. How are you? Nice to see you, man. Nice to see you. That was a big evening last night, right?
Yes, it was.
That was a big evening.
As DJ, it is such an honor to have met you.
Hold up, I got one more thing to say.
What? He has one more thing to say. I won't interrupt you.
If you're a Democrat and you're being mean to President Trump, I'm on your bumper.
Like, this kid has a sense of humor, he has a good spirit, but the Democrats are such a cult, they're so tribalistic, that they even hate the children that aren't on their side. When we on the right see a kid who's been indoctrinated in radical woke gender ideology, who's being encouraged by the adults around them to mutilate their body, who's being caused mental angst because adults are telling them there's something wrong with them, we don't hate those kids. We feel bad. We want to help. We want to see them thriving and happy. We don't care where they fall politically on the spectrum. Democrats do the same thing with women. They claim that they're for women, but the moment any woman doesn't agree with the Democrat philosophy, then they engage in ruthless, demonizing attacks. Democrats didn't stand or applaud when Donald Trump was announcing how he saved women's sports by banning men. And they also didn't stand when the mother and the sister of the late Laken Riley were honored. Watch.
Last year, I told Laken's grieving parents that we would ensure their daughter would not have died in vain. That's why the very first bill I signed into law as your 47th president mandates the detention of all dangerous criminal aliens who threaten public safety. It's a very strong, powerful act.
This is the tolerant left. This is the party that claims to be all about inclusivity, but only as long as you think exactly like them. They're so anti-American, so pro-immigration, so anti-women, that they can't for a second honor a mother and a sister who lost their family member at the hands of an illegal immigrant. Trump's speech was littered with opportunities for the Democrats to prove that they can get past their petty grievances and show the American people that they still have compassion or maybe a desire to see America be prosperous or a desire to see its women be protected or see its children happy. They could have shown that despite their dislike of Donald Trump, they could honor a grieving family or still want what's best for America. The only thing the Democrats stood and applauded for was a continued endless war in Ukraine. And Donald Trump used this opportunity to expose the Democrats for being warmongers and also took a shot at Elizabeth Warren, calling her Pocahontas.
With no end in sight, the United States has sent hundreds of billions of dollars to support Ukraine's defense. With no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes. $2,000 people are being killed every single week. More than that.
So one of the big gaffes that everybody was talking about last night, another example of theatrical performances by the Democrats, which amount to absolutely nothing, was them holding these signs on popsicle sticks that said things like liar, false, which got absolutely ridiculed by both sides of the aisle and the Democrat media, might I add. One of the more savage ones came from John Fetterman himself, who said, "A sad cavalcade of self-owns and unhinged petulance. It only makes Trump look more presidential and restrained. We're becoming the metaphorical car alarms that nobody pays attention to, and it may not be the winning message." Now, we all know that John Fetterman is trying to apply some common sense to the Democrat Party, but it's these performative stunts by a bunch of theater kids who think they're being substantive and effective, but actually highlight how discombobulated and beaten the Democrats are. If the best you could come up with was signs on popsicle sticks, it would have been much better to sit there and do absolutely nothing. But the fact you decided to go down this route shows that the Democrat Party has no leadership, no strategy, no plan. They're doing things for the sake of doing them to try to mask their incompetence and desperation. And it wasn't just John Fetterman. Take a look as MSNBC actually slams them for what they deemed the bingo cards.
Say, well, thank you, Simone.
Can we talk about it?
The bingo signs were killing me. I don't know who thought up the bingo signs, but they should be fired.
Michael, this is an indictment, in my opinion, on the Democratic leadership. I talked to a lot of members during they was texting. The staff were on my phones and they were calling. And I think the best way to describe it is the Democratic leadership said they didn't want disruptions and they wanted people to attend and bring a guest and they wanted, little business as usual, and we're fighting back in other ways. There is a palpable disgust, as Claire said, from not just the members but their constituents. And it's like a pot, as someone described it to me, that's boiling and it's about to bubble over. If you do not allow the members a space to release valve, it's going to bubble over. And this was the visuals are not taking back the House in 2026. Not these visuals. Where's the signs? Put the signs up, folks,
The dry
please.
erase board with different messages.
Oh my gosh,
You
it
don't
was
think
crazy.
that's
Put the paddles up, y'all.
I mean, when these partisan hacks are calling you out, you know you failed miserably. It made the Democrats look childish and petty and divisive. It shows an unwillingness to even consider collaboration and just a whiny, sore loser commitment to resistance. And that's why Trump used the opportunity to say, hey, if you guys want to be the resistance, that's on you. But I'm going to tell the American people exactly what you're resisting. Now, the last big moment that came out of the speech was Congressman Al Green, who got removed by the sergeant in arms because he wouldn't stop protesting.
Continue to engage in willful and concerted disruption of proper decorum. The chair now directs the sergeant at arms to restore order. Remove this gentleman from the chamber.
His antics show you just how ununified and rattled the Democrat Party is. You have the leadership like Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer saying that they didn't want their party to come at all with those bingo cards or make a big fiasco in protest. It might have been a moment if Al Green took the lead, he got kicked out, and then every single member of the Democrat Congress walked out with him. The Democrats want to resist, but don't even know how to resist in a performative way that has a profound impact. They're not even good at being petty. And while he thought this was going to be an epic fight the power kind of move, CNN came out with a poll live when it happened, showing that 80% of Americans disapproved of Al Green's actions. Watch.
During the course of the event, which is wanting to get reaction on Congressman Al Green's antics and being ejected. 80% of speech watchers said that the Democratic congressman's interrupting of Trump's speech was inappropriate. Only 20% of speech watchers thought what Green did was appropriate, Aaron.
So once again, the Democrats are choosing to take the most unpopular side of every single issue and be as off-putting as possible to the American people. Polls were coming out showing an overwhelming majority of Americans loved Donald Trump's speech, liked what he's talking about, optimistic for the future, liked the job that he's doing. And this should show you just how corrupt these Democrat politicians are, that they have no interest in listening to their constituents, to listening to the will of the people. They're in self-preservation mode because the money laundering corruption scheme that they've been running and reaping the benefits of is finally coming to an end. And their own survival is much more important to them than the actual wants and needs of their constituents. They haven't provided their own in-depth, comprehensive plan of what departments in the federal government should be cut, where they can cut spending, where they can reduce waste. They want it all to continue, and that should be a glaring indictment of their complicitness in the fraud that's occurring. They only stand for Ukraine. They don't stand for women. They don't stand for children. They don't stand for America. They only stand for their own personal interests and political power, and Donald Trump is a threat to that. So they are anti-Trump. And all these publicly shameful and embarrassing actions are just going to make the Democrat brand more irreparably toxic than it already is. But let me know what you guys think down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video and Trump's epic speech last night, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Turn on the notification bell so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.